Welcome, everybody. Welcome. This is the first episode ever of the Scape Gaming Podcast. My name is Greg. This is my co-host, Corey.
I am Corey.
That is Corey. And we just want to welcome you. Like I said, if you haven't heard, this is our first episode ever of our gaming podcast. So, since it is our first ever episode, we want to kind of break down before we get started what our vision is for this gaming podcast. So, Corey, will you tell the beautiful viewers, beautiful listeners, what our kind of mindset is?
Listen, beautiful listeners. I almost said look, but you're probably not looking at much. You can
look at our little timeline on our podcast, so they could be looking.
Possibly, yeah. So we all know reality sucks. I mean, really.
Heard that.
I mean, you might like your life, but it's not Hyrule. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's...
You can't fly through the air and swing on webs and stuff.
Exactly. Like, I don't want to say your life sucks, but it's not, it's not Kanto or something. Okay, so...
It's not living up to its full potentials like video games.
So we all want to escape our boring, mundane lives and jump into another world. Like, that's what we do, We're gamers. If you're listening to this, you're probably a gamer. So that's what Rescape is, recreational escapism. It is our chance to get away from our office jobs, get away from our construction, and go play some video games. So we made this podcast so you guys can play with us, play along with whatever we're playing, listen to us discuss it, write in and discuss it with us, It's our
Escape Gaming Podcast at gmail.com.
Yep.
All lowercase. That's
Rescape Gaming.
Rescape Gaming Podcast at gmail.com.
Yes.
Shameless plug.
Rescape sounds like a weird name, but the motive behind it is not weird. Recreational escapism.
Yeah. So just a quick bio on each other. Corey and I grew up together. We're pretty good friends. I kind of know a little bit about him. We both have pretty good game collections, but more about me. My gaming collection, my nerdy collection is vastly superior than Corey's, and don't let him lie to you and say that his is greater. I enjoy playing all sorts of video games. Corey and I grew up playing Sony PlayStations together a lot, so we play more, I play more PlayStation than anything. I do enjoy Nintendo games a lot. I do enjoy Xbox and all that, but my main focus is PlayStation, but don't let that distract you. I will not turn down a good game. I'm excited for this podcast because I'm very passionate about video games. I'm a passionate person in general. I'm kind of like the Shakespeare of this generation. So, Corey, what about you? What's your background? What's your biography? I know it's hard to follow that up.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough follow right there. But I have been gaming since I was a wee little lad. It all started when I was little.
A wee little lad?
Yeah. It all started... I remember being very small. I don't really know what age, like 4 or 5 maybe. And my father bringing home an NES with Super Mario Brothers, and that is a lot of people's introduction to gaming, and it's mine as well. Set it up on the kitchen table with a little CRT TV. And,
I've actually never played Mario.
Are you serious?
No, I'm just kidding. You just said everyone's played this game. I was like, not me.
But yeah, that was my introduction, and it's just been a passion of mine ever since. And when I say passion, I mean passion. Like, if you watch my room tour on YouTube, like, you see the wall of games I have. And that's just from, like, an accumulation over life, just because I've always been a gamer. And so this podcast is fun because Greg and I basically discuss games as if it were a podcast in general already, so we might as well let people listen to it.
Yeah, we have that conversation a lot. Like, we'll get in debates and be making fun of each other's opinion. Well, I make fun of his opinion because I'm kind of a jerk. Corey's too nice to make fun of me. But that's how this podcast idea came together. We're like, well, we might as well record it. We're having these discussions regardless. So, anyway.
Yeah, so this is going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So, without further ado, Corey, what are some games you're playing? Are you playing through anything interesting right now?
I am currently working on a Let's Play of Wolfenstein: The New Order, and also Klonoa on the Wii, which is a remake of the super expensive PS1 game if you get it physical. And
I've never played Wolfenstein. What's that about?
It is a first-person shooter, and if I remember correctly, it is an alternate history line where if the Nazis would have won the
Oh,
World War,
wow.
then like this is what happens. So it actually
So
has
you're
a
saying
lot
you're a
of.
Nazi?
I mean, I'm actually an anti-Nazi in the game.
Oh, do you get to choose that, or is it like preset for you?
It's preset for you. So like if
Oh,
you
okay.
were an actual Nazi and you went and played the game, you'd be mad that the Nazis are the bad guys.
Well, I guess I won't play it then. JK, JK. I'm not
Just
a
kidding.
Nazi.
Guys, we're not Nazis, I promise.
We're not Nazis.
But
We're anti-Nazis, if anything. Hashtag
but
Wolfenstein.
but a funny story, guys, just not to get on too much of a side thing, is Greg sent me a picture of his wallpaper, and it
Oh
was
yeah.
Klonoa, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I want to change mine, so I did Klonoa, and I was like, what other game am I playing? I need to do a lock screen, and then I remembered it was Wolfenstein, and I was like, no, not doing that because I don't want a Nazi lock screen.
Yeah. Hey, hey, can I use your phone, man? Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Let me. Don't ignore my background. I promise I like everybody.
Yeah. But anyways,
Oh
yeah.
man.
So first-person shooter, it's fun. Klonoa is fun too. I'm not gonna say too much about Klonoa because Greg hasn't started it yet.
Yeah. Please don't. Please.
So
Hashtag I like spoilers.
oh, and also our we also play through NCAA Football 14 together, like a Dynasty. It's basically like a football RPG, but I
Mhm.
know a lot of gamers aren't into sports games. So, Greg, what are you playing?
I'm playing quite a bit. I am a busy man. I'm playing through Skyward Sword, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. I know you've probably never heard of this game. It's kind of low key. The series isn't very out there very much,
Is
but
Zelda that uh the guy in green?
yeah, that's
I'm
the
just
guy in
kidding.
green, and you're trying to rescue the Princess Link. So, Skyward Sword, I've never played very many Zelda games. I've
Bless
played
you.
Ocarina of Time, Avi, because I think everyone's probably played that game, and Majora's Mask. I think those are the only two I've ever actually beaten from the series. So, I wanted to play one I haven't played, which was easy to find. And Skyward Sword, I've been told, is the first in the canon. Is that true? First in the canon?
Yes, I believe
Yeah.
it's the first game. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, might as well start there. So, I'm excited. I'm enjoying it. The Wii controls suck. Oh my gosh. I guess this has to be like one of the first games on Wii really um pushed hard, I guess, because they try and put motion controls into everything. And I know that's what the Wii's about, but come on. Come on, Nintendo.
Just to interject for a second, I think that
That's
was a
not allowed.
later Wii game, but the fact that Zelda games take so long to make, I bet they started making it when the Wii like
Mm.
first came out, and I bet they were
Okay.
like, "Let's make these motion controls a thing." You know what I mean? It kind of held.
Yeah, yeah, I mean that makes sense because like when PlayStation 4 first came out, they really pushed that you could have some motion controls with the controller, like with
And that
knack
touchpad.
and the touchpad. They try and push that a lot, but these later games they're like
Yeah, the
ah.
touchpad's like just basically a start
It's a
button
map.
now
It's a map
and a
button.
map. Yeah,
Hey, I do appreciate the map button.
I
Every
do
game I
too.
play. Push
Yep.
it, map. Anyway, so I'm playing Zelda Skyward Sword, really enjoying it. Once you get over the clunky controls, playing through Pokemon Fire Red, not Fire Red, original Red. You know, uh,
Attaboy.
I know. I've almost beat it. I want to play through all. Don't judge me too much, but Pokemon's also another game I haven't played very many into. I've beaten the first two games. I've beaten Generation One, Generation Two. I haven't beaten beyond that. And Let's Go Eevee is like Generation 50, I think. I
Well,
think
it's
that's
still
the.
Gen 1, but it's
I know it's Gen 1, but it's like, you know what I mean. I
yeah.
think the Switch is going to come out with, no joke, Generation 9 or something. So,
Yeah, this year.
so I wanna play through some more of those. So I'm playing through Fire Red and Zelda. And I just started Batman Arkham City.
Good classic.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm playing a lot. So,
Oh, I forgot. I'm also playing Kingdom
no, your
Hearts
time's
Rechain
up.
of Memories.
Your time's up.
But
What are you
Rechain of
playing? Sorry.
Memories.
Rechain of
Would
Memories. That's a great game.
yeah,
It got
it
a
was
lot of
really
hate.
hard back when I first played it. I mean, I think it still isn't like the easiest game in the world, but it was a
Get
lot
good.
harder before I like kind of researched how it's supposed to be played instead of just mashing buttons.
Yeah,
Like
you definitely can't. It's definitely not a hack and slash like Kingdom Hearts 1 was,
yeah, like
or
going into
2
this
or
last
3.
boss that was really hard, I made sure I had the correct kind of deck so that my sleight can be used. and
Hmm.
then I set it up perfectly right in the same order I needed and beat him. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
so we'll discuss more about these games later when we finish them.
absolutely.
But yeah, that's what we're playing.
Yep. So, a game we played through together. We're both part of like a video game book club on Facebook called Gaming Central. You're more than welcome to join it.
It's
Hit us
actually
up.
called game clubs.
Oh, it's called Game Clubs. Game Clubs is actually a derivative of Gaming
Yes,
Central, right?
sister group.
Sister. Yeah, it's a sister or brother or whatever. Sister. Anyway, we vote on a game each month, and this month we chose Enslaved Odyssey to the West for the PlayStation 3, which
I think it was
I
last.
voted for. Oh, it is on 360 as well. But like I said, I like Sony better, so I bought it for PlayStation 3. Hashtag trophies. So what were your initial thoughts going into this game? Had you played this game before we played it, Corey?
No, with a lot of these game club games, if I have never heard of the game, I keep it that way until I put the game into the console that I'm playing. Like, I like
Truly
to go
going
in,
blind?
going in completely blind is super fun to me, like not even knowing like what genre the game is. I mean, sometimes it backlashes, like back when I played Limbo. Like, it made me like Limbo a little less because I was expecting something else. But
You
anyways,
don't like Limbo? Hold on,
I
hold on,
no,
hold on.
listen. I like Limbo. Limbo's a good game, but what I was expecting just from seeing the artwork and stuff, and then what I played, didn't line up in a weird way, and it made it to where I liked Limbo less than I would have if I knew exactly what I was playing when I started Limbo.
So you like Limbo, but you don't love it like you're supposed to.
I like it, but not as much as past Corey prior to playing Limbo thought he would like it.
I like Limbo, but I like it less now that I've played it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, no, picture. Okay, say you're about to watch like a movie and like you're expecting a horror movie. Okay, so you're going in
Okay.
like, oh yeah, I love scary movies. I can't wait to watch this. Turns out it's a comedy. I mean, you still
You're
laughed at
talking
it.
about Drag Me to Hell, aren't you?
No, I mean, yeah, I guess I could. I did think that about Drag Me to Hell. We discussed it. Okay, anyways,
Yeah,
but you
yeah,
know what I
anyway.
mean. Like, you like the comedy movie. You laughed at it, but you actually really wanted a horror movie, and you like horror movies more than comedies. So it was kind of more disappointing than it was that you liked it. Does that make
I
sense?
got you. I got you. So what you're saying is going into Limbo, you thought it was going to be a survival horror, Resident Evil, Silent Hill type, and you come out laughing because it's more Mario type and makes you laugh.
Not at all, but
Then I don't follow. No, I'm just kidding. I get what you're saying. You went in
before,
expecting one thing and it was completely different. Not you were
before I
just a
go back
little
to the slate,
disappointed.
I'll just say I
Okay.
thought Limbo was going to be like an action platformer, like
Which it
but
was.
like very stylized with its graphics. Turned out
Which it
it
was.
was a platformer, but it was a die a million times before you figure out how to do it and then move on platformer, which I was not expecting. If I knew it was that, then I would be like, oh, I died 20 times. Anyways, Enslaved.
So you didn't think you were gonna die as many times as you did.
It's not that. It's the whole motive of that game is kind of like Super Meat Boy. They know you're
Oh
going to die.
man, don't get me started on Super Meat Boy. I hate that game.
You know what
It
I
makes
mean?
me
Like
so mad. Yeah,
that's part of the game is to die 100 times before you figure it out. And I didn't
I
know
got
that was going to be part of the
Got
game.
I got you. I understand. I understand that mindset. Okay, back to Enslaved.
Yes.
So you like to go into games blind.
Yes. So I went into this blind,
Yeah.
and so I started playing it, and I was like, hey, this is pretty fun. You know, it has climbing like Uncharted. The combat's decent, and then Trip started getting annoying. Like she's the
Win chapter 2.
yeah. Then when I figured out this game was an entire like the whole game is an escort mission, which are usually my least favorite segments of any video games I play is escort missions. To where like if you don't escort them perfectly, they'll die. You have to restart. You can't like leave them. Whole game is that. So that definitely bumped the game down at least 2 notches for me.
So you don't like escort games, is what
I
you're
don't
saying.
like escort missions. Not really. No.
So
I mean, I had fun
so
with them, but
has there ever been an escort game you liked? I say this because I have one up my sleeve that's gonna destroy your theory.
I mean, it can't destroy my opinion, but it might destroy the
So you
escort.
don't like The Last of Us?
I do like The Last of Us, but Ellie
What?
was not a helpless, whiny person.
Oh, so she wasn't like a little girl or anything?
She was a kid, and she was still
She is a kid.
less helpless than Trip.
No, I agree with what you're saying. I just like arguing. But back to I agree with what you're saying about Enslaved. It being an escort mission definitely um, frustrated me at times, especially since I think this game had to be early, like early to mid early PS3 release. I don't know the exact time it came out.
Came out in 2010, but I guarantee they started developing it probably early PS3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the theory behind it and the vision they had for the game, I completely support because when you're playing it, you can see the potential of the game. But it's super choppy, and some of the controls are clunky, and it's a hack and slash, right? So you do a lot of hack and slash, defeat robots, and there's times when you defeat a robot and it does a really cool like zoom in cutscene of you destroying it, and you're like, oh man, that was awesome. But then at the same time, there's more robots far away that are attacking Trip, and you're stuck in this slow mo animation, and then Monkey, like the main character's name is Monkey. Monkey is like, oh yeah, got him, and you can't move for 5 seconds,
Yeah.
and then Trip dies. That
You
happened
also
to me.
can't move for 5 seconds when you get stuck in a rock and like you glitch and you have to restart.
Yeah, the game was definitely glitchy. Like,
I had a few glitches in that game.
a couple. Sorry, I know I kind of skipped over my initial thoughts, but my initial thoughts going into it, I actually voted for this game, like I said, because I found it randomly at GameStop or some sort of game store, and I was like, man, this looks really fun. And I'm really into finding not hidden gems, but I like finding games that are under the radar that are good games, like Majin and Forsaken Kingdom, another great game. You should check it out. But Enslaved looked really fun, and I did a little bit of research on it because I like to research games, unlike you. I like to have a little bit of an idea of what a game is.
Hang on. Pause. I like to, if I'm about to spend money on the game just for myself randomly, then I do want to research it.
Okay.
But if it's voted and I know I'm going to play it regardless, I go in blind.
Okay, that makes sense. Anyway, so I saw that it was kind of it drew inspiration from Journey to the West, which I've never read that story. I know it's super popular folklore tale, but do you know another series that drew inspiration from Journey to the West?
I don't, but you telling me that actually made me like the game more through the second half of it, just to let you know.
Yep. So Journey to the West is about a adventurer that is a monkey. I'm pretty sure he's a monkey, like actual monkey. So the guy's named character being named Monkey, and he has like this little sash that looks like a tail.
I did notice it looked like a tail before you told me.
Yep.
Even.
And his main weapon is a staff that extends and
so he's
shrinks.
Like Splinter.
Splinter.
I'm just kidding.
No. Wrong series. The series I'm alluding to is Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball?
Yes.
Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, all inspired. Goku, yes, is inspired by Journey to the West, and I'm a big Dragon Ball fan.
Stick.
Yeah, exactly.
And he has the cloud that, dude. That hey, you know what? Whenever you know the cloud that you fly around on Enslaved, I was like, during my Let's Play, you can hear me. I'm like, it's like the Nimbus cloud, and
exactly.
I didn't even draw a comparison.
Didn't even click, did it? Yeah. No. So they're very similar, and I really appreciated that throughout the game. So I was excited.
So wait, so does the monkey in the actual story, does he have a cloud he floats around on?
I don't know. Like I said, I know he has a staff. He has to have a cloud because Dragon Ball and Enslaved have a cloud. I was
gonna say, like, that's too big of a coincidence right there, unless they were
too big of a coinkydink.
Let's be like Dragon Ball.
Let's be like Dragon Ball, and that's not a. And did you notice his hair? Very Super Saiyan-esque. It was like.
You know what's funny though? I bet younger kids would be like, "Oh, they got this from Dragon Ball."
Yeah, and they might have drawn inspiration from Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z because Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z had been out since the 90s. So they might have drawn inspiration from both.
The 80s.
Really? It came out in the 80s?
Yeah.
Wow. I was not alive then. Anyway, so
for a year and a half. For a year and 1 month.
I like the game other than the clunkiness. I wish it wasn't so clunky. I would buy a remaster on the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, like the
I
new
would
gen.
definitely. Yeah.
I definitely would buy it because I feel like with a remaster they could fix the issues that I have with
It
it.
is on Steam,
Clunkiness.
actually.
Yes,
Um,
I did see that. I saw a lot of people play it on Steam
and
and
it
like it.
runs a lot smoother on Steam, I think. So if I ever have to replay it, I'm going that direction.
That's a good route. I don't think the software was the issue. I think it was the design, like the game was the issue. It's the feeling I got because I've played games similar to it on the PlayStation 3 and haven't had the same issues. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe it tried to push the PlayStation 3 too hard.
I don't know what their development cycle was back then, but a lot of times bugs just stay in games because, the publishers are getting antsy. They're wanting them to push the game out. It's not ready yet, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know. You never know, but you will run into some bugs and some glitches when you play that game. Just to let you guys.
Yes, but don't let that discourage you because it is a fun little game. It's got a famous actor in it too. It's got the guy who plays Smeagol.
Yes. Not to spoil anything, but is he in it aside from the big reveal of him?
Yes, he is.
He's Monkey's voice, isn't he?
Oh, actually, I don't know if he's Monkey's voice.
I
You should look
think I
that up.
read he was Monkey's
You
voice.
should look that up. I don't know who his voice actor is. The voice actor was actually pretty good in the game. I felt like, um, and the world was beautiful. They
Oh
did a
yeah,
great
very
job.
pretty game.
Like, because you're in New York for a lot of it, like post-apocalyptic New York, and it's overgrown. It looks very Last of Us like, but not as good as Last of Us, obviously, because Last of Us is phenomenal. But
Yes, Andy Serkis is the voice of Monkey, the voice of Smeagol.
there we go. There we go. And he, if I'm not mistaken, he's a big part of the developers that made the game. I think he's like a key contributor or something to that development team, which would make sense.
Yeah, just to let you guys know, we're gonna try our absolute hardest to get away from spoiling games.
Yes.
We should have said that at the beginning,
Yeah.
but
I don't
if
think
we
we've spoiled it yet, have we?
no, I'm just saying like if we ever are about to drop a spoiler, I think we'll warn you. Don't
Over
worry.
anything, like not just this section of the
Yeah.
podcast, but
We're
other
very
sections.
anti-spoil, so
Yeah, like because we want you guys to hear what we're talking about and be encouraged to go play these games. Because hopefully we don't ever talk about games where we're like, "Don't play this game," like Red Dead Redemption. Don't go play that game. I hear it's horrible.
yeah.
Like we'll never do that. But seriously, don't play Red Dead Redemption 2. It's horrible.
Yeah,
I've actually
no,
never played it.
I've
Don't say.
never
I'm not
either.
gonna say.
But outside of Enslaved, I decided I was going to also let's play the DLC.
Yes. How was the DLC? I didn't play the DLC.
So I didn't go into the DLC completely blind because I had to make a purchase, so I decided,
Money in the bank.
yeah. So I saw that it was a completely different genre than the main game, basically. In the main
It's not
game,
a hack and slash.
no,
Sorry. I'll quit interrupting.
it's okay. In the main game, there is a character you guys will run into at some point who I think's the most interesting character in the game.
The most disgusting.
I mean, he's very. I wouldn't hang out with him if it was real life. I'll just say that. I wouldn't hang out with any of them, honestly.
You wouldn't hang out with the Trip. Trip seems very resourceful.
Until she sticks a thing on your head and makes you make her popcorn.
Isn't that just a wedding ring, basically? Oh.
Oh yeah. I don't know where you.
Okay, so just so you don't know, early on in the game, like the whole game is you're helping Trip get back to her
This
family.
isn't a spoiler. It's like the first.
This is not a
5
spoiler.
minutes.
This is the game. This is the whole point. The whole society of the world. Sorry to interrupt, Corey. Just to give it a little background. The society of the world of this post-apocalyptic is that there's slaves and slavers and people that try and avoid being slavers. Slaved. So they put headbands on each other, and if you get put a headband on, whoever puts the headband on becomes your slaver, basically. Like they command you, and they're like, "Command, go make popcorn." You never make popcorn, but that's what they say, and then you have to do that, or you're in an immense amount of pain. So Trip needs help getting home. Monkey being the buff hero protagonist looking dude, she puts a headband on him and forces him to help her get home.
Yeah, and if she dies, he dies. with that
Right,
heavy-
yes. He can die and she can't, but if she dies, he dies. And so the whole game, like, you can't wander too far away from her or it'll start, like,
It'll kill you.
freaking out. Yeah, and you'll die.
Yeah, so that way you can't even run away.
Yeah,
So
you can't even run away because she can say command stop or command come back, or you'll just die randomly every now and then. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what?
But
I wish it would have given you a better heads up, like, hey, you're about to die.
yeah, because I died like that a couple times, and I was like, what did I die from? Like, I don't know
Yeah,
what's going on.
it just like zooms out a little bit and gets a little white. Yeah, I wish
Yeah.
they would have given a better. Anyway, sorry. Back to what you were
Oh, it's
saying.
okay. So this character who's the most interesting character by far, but I was just he has cool gadgets and stuff, and he's got cool abilities. So I looked up the DLC to see how long it was. It's only like 4 or 5 hours. I still had like half a month left, because we do game of the month. So I was like, I'll just do the DLC too. I'll let's play the DLC. So I did, and I like the DLC more than the actual game. Just to let
Really?
you guys know. Yes, the DLC is I'm gonna try to sum it up here without spoil. There's not really spoilers because the DLC is not super story oriented. I mean, it has a story basically that it's following, but and it's all prequel to Enslaved basically. And so you have a sniper rifle, you have all these gadgets, and it's basically like Batman with all the gadgets and stuff and the sneaking. Like you have to stealth with gadgets and then you snipe and stuff with the gun, which I also like sniping in games. So it's in every level.
You
is
definitely
basically-
are a sniper.
Yeah,
Whenever
every
we play
level
first-person
is
shooters. Sorry. Sorry, I
okay.
know you're in the middle. Sorry.
Every level is like a puzzle, basically, like because you have to get by all these robots with your gadgets and with your sniper rifle. And Pigsy cannot like hand-to-hand combat. He can't do it. So you'll die in like half a second. So you got to like sneak around, pop this guy, stun these guys, pop, go to the next area, and I had a lot of fun with the DLC actually. So you
So
guys should
would
definitely
you
try it.
does it stand alone from the enslaved
Yes.
main storyline then? So someone
100%.
could theoretically play the DLC without ever playing the game.
Yes, theoretically you could, and you'd be fine. It wouldn't change anything because also it's the prequel, so you're not missing out on
Oh,
any
okay.
slave story if you play it.
Oh, okay. It doesn't give away any spoilers or anything?
Nope.
Nope. So just for reference, you said How Long to Beat is a great website and if you're ever looking for a good idea of how long a game takes. You said you looked up the DLC and it was 3 hours, right?
I don't remember. It's like
Yeah.
between 3
Oh,
and
sorry.
5.
I just looked it up. So the DLC is 3 hours, and in retrospect, the actual game Enslaved is only 9 hours, according to How Long to Beat. So altogether, you can beat all the game and the DLC in 12 hours.
Yes, and I'd say
Which everyone's got 12 hours a month.
Yeah, the DLC comes with the game on Steam, so I would almost recommend you guys play the DLC before you play the game if you're gonna play, like in a certain order.
Well, yeah, you could, but it would
then
kind of
again,
ruin a character reveal.
Yeah, Pigsy.
Because you
Yeah, play the game
Pixie
first.
doesn't come in until like chapter 7 or 8 or something like that.
The problem with DLC, its name is Pigsy's Perfect 10, so you're gonna know
Yeah.
Pigsy is a thing. Even just
I guess
looking
that's
at the
true.
DLC.
I guess. And yes, Pigsy is character modeled like a pig.
Yes.
So,
And
I
he
thought
acts
that
like
was-
a pig. He probably smells like a pig.
Yeah.
But
He
anyways.
definitely looks like he smells bad. Yeah.
But-
So I liked it. I liked the game overall. Did you
I
like
did
the
too.
game overall? Would
Yes,
you
I did.
recommend? I mean, you just did. So, but you would tell people to play it?
Are we doing shelf it or not right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so go ahead, Greg.
you explain it. You're better at explaining this concept than I am.
Just on these little segments, we'll just do a shelve it, rent it, or avoid it. So I mean, we'll also give a rating, but
Yeah, and they kind of go hand in hand with our ratings a little
yeah.
bit.
So I mean, like if we were to give it a 2, you should probably avoid it, But
It's a game that we don't recommend.
yeah, that's not Enslaved, just in general. If we do that,
No, yeah.
But anyways, I personally would shelve this game.
You would shelve it. You would recommend people buy it and not just
Yes.
rent it. Is
Yes,
what that
especially
means.
since
You would
because
put
of
it
how
on
cheap
your
it is.
shelf. Yes. So it's got achievements, it's got trophies, and they're not super hard trophies. The platinum trophy, I'm sure it translates to Xbox achievements as well.
I
The
think it's
platinum
a
trophy is
thousand
only like
gamer
a
scores and
yeah. So I think it was only like a 4 or 5 out of 10 according to the internet. You got to beat the game on hard and collect all the collectibles basically. So nothing too major. I did beat the game on hard, no big deal.
oh, I
But
see.
I did not collect all the collectibles. I just wanted to play through it without a guide. I would also shelve it. It's like borderline rent it slash shelve it for me. It's like right on the cusp
If it
because
was a
of the
new
bugs.
game, I'd say rent.
If it was new game and if it wasn't as choppy frame rate at times, it's not the whole game, but the choppy frame rate kind of makes me irritated. But if you can look past that, it's quite a delightful game.
And guys, this isn't just a like, oh, that's a little choppy. I can kind of tell. Your whole game slows. It's like, boom, like at
Yes,
times. Like,
at times, not the whole game. Like
yeah,
when you're actually fighting the mechs, the bad guys, it's actually like surprisingly not choppy. Like
it's like a
it's
cutscene that
during the
choppy.
cutscenes. Some of the
Yeah,
cutscenes, or you're just running around, exploring, is when it is.
yeah,
It's a linear game. Don't be going into this expecting an open world feel because it's not. It's beat this area, then you go to this area, beat this area, go to this area. So, but I agree, shelf it, almost rent it. But what would you give it, Corey?
Well,
0 to 10. What's your final
before I
rating?
do
Do you have
that,
one? Oh,
Metacritic gave
Metacritic.
this game an 80. The
Mm,
the meta score is 80. The user score is a 7.5, and IGN gave it an 8.
an
I
8.
checked
So,
GameSpot. I couldn't find any ratings on theirs. But me
so
personally,
basically, people give it a B.
yeah, me
Yeah.
personally, I give the main game a 7 and the DLC a almost an 8, between a 7.5 and an 8.
So altogether, it's the entire game plus the DLC is like 7.3, 7.4.
Yeah, we'll go almost around 7.5, something like that.
7.5 for you. Okay, I think, which is weird because when we were talking about this game, I felt like I liked it better than you.
Yeah.
But I'm giving it a lower rating than you. My final
Really?
rating on this game is a 6.8. And I know that sounds specific, but I don't quite think it's a 7. Listen, if it wasn't choppy, I promise. Like I really did enjoy this game, but if it wasn't choppy, the choppiness just did it in. If it wasn't choppy, it'd probably be closer to an 8. It'd probably be like a 7.9 or 7.8. But the
My
choppiness just brought it down a lot for me.
Yeah, my thought process
6.8.
on ratings is like a 5. A 5 is a game that I'm just kind of playing through. Like I don't want to stop it because I'm not hating it, but I kind of just want to. I'll go ahead and beat it type of thing. 6 is like a little higher than that. The 7s is like I enjoy this game, but it's got its issues. Like so,
Right.
I was around there with Enslaved.
Yeah. I look at it as a 5 as a game that I'm like, I guess it was okay. I enjoyed it. I'll never play it again. Enslaved, I would play again. So I wanted to give it a little higher than that. I would play that again. Like I said, if it got remastered for the PlayStation 4, I would definitely get it.
Oh, I would too. Yeah.
I think it could be fun on the Switch too. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, all right, that was this week's game. This next week, we're gonna try and get it both done. Us both get the next game done before our next week's podcast, but there's no promises. It's a shorter game. It is Klonoa. Corey, do you have any background on Klonoa before we get started? Just a little bit of history on it. Do you have anything off the top of your head that you know about this game without
Uh,
ruining any of the story? I know you've already started this game. I
do
have
you
not.
mean like my personal stuff or actual statistics on it?
Just your personal knowledge on it.
Okay, so I am 2 episodes in of my Let's Play of Klonoa on the Wii. This is the remake to Klonoa Door to Phantom Mill on PS1.
And they're the same game, right?
Yes,
It's just a remake onto the Wii.
yeah, and the PS1 version doesn't have cutscenes, and it's obviously a PS1 game. So
Yeah. So it's they remade it. I don't know why they didn't make it onto like the PS2. I don't know why they chose the Wii.
I don't
But
know, yeah, because the sequel was on PS2. But
yeah.
anyways, I don't even know why it's on the Wii personally, because there's no motion controls yet. But
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was looking at it, and it said you could play with a GameCube controller, and I was like, that
You can?
means there's no. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can play, like, hook up a GameCube controller to your Wii, and use a GameCube controller, which is
Huh.
my favorite controller. So I might just use a GameCube controller.
Yeah, I might do that too. But
Yeah.
I'm 2 episodes in on my Let's Play. So far, all I can tell you is it's a side-scrolling platformer,
Mhm.
but with no timer, which I really appreciate.
Good.
And I'll get more into that whenever we discuss it. Why that's a big deal. But yeah, very cutesy platformer. You know, like a what do they call it? Mascot platformer. Yeah.
Mascot. Yes, and that's the feeling I get from just doing my initial research and my thoughts on it, is that it appears that like they tried to make it into a mascot similar to Sly Cooper, Crash Bandicoot, Jack and Daxter. It seems like it has that feel to it.
Yes.
So, How Long to Beat has it at 5.5 hours for the main plus the extras. So short game, should be able to complete it by next week.
Yeah, and I'm super excited to play through it because I watch a lot of gamers on YouTube, and like, and they all talk about Klonoa. It's like one of their. I try to come up with like a way to describe it, but it's one of their games that like not a lot of people talk about, but they always bring up, and so I'm always like, I should try that type of thing for like years now. I should try that, and I'm finally trying it, so that's good.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun game. And we're both going to be Let's Playing it on our YouTube channels. So if you
Yes.
don't want to play it and you want to kind of play through it with us for next week, I will do my very best to have every episode uploaded by next week. If I beat the game by next week's podcast, I will have every episode on my YouTube channel.
Yes.
And my YouTube channel is all lowercase or uppercase. I don't think it matters.
No.
But my YouTube channel is Aerodontis. AERODONTIS. And if I'm not mistaken, you're going to try and do the same thing.
Yes. I already have 2 episodes up right now, and I should have all of them up by the next episode easily. My YouTube channel is C Stove, C space stove, like you cook. Sorry, hiccup, like you cook on.
See stove.
So yeah, and also I'm also playing through Wolfenstein: The New Order, and I have a whole Let's Play of Enslaved if you want to watch me play through that. So
Good plug. Good plug. I'm also playing Skyward Sword. I'll plug myself a little bit too.
well, I was just meaning because we've discussed these games, so
Oh,
if they
no, I
want
know.
to check them out or whatever.
Absolutely. If they want to see what we look like too.
But yeah, our one of our visions for this podcast was that whatever game we say we're going to discuss, you guys hop in and play as well because we want you to write in and kind of discuss it with us. Because
Where can they write in at though, Corey?
Rescape Gaming Podcast at gmail.com.
Is it Rescape Gaming Podcast or Rescape Podcast?
Rescape Podcast at game.
There's
at
no
gmail.com. Yeah, no gaming.
There's
No
gaming, but there's no gaming in the email.
But
So it's
if you-
Rescape Podcast.
Yes. But if you can't play the game for whatever reason or don't want to, you can watch us play it and get our initial rages or loves of the game as we play with our Let's Plays, and then come listen to us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think that pretty much covers the game we play and the game we're going to play. Would you agree?
Yes, it does. I
Any
agree.
any last words you want to add to this segment?
No, I don't think so.
All right, so moving on. All right, guys, this is segment 3 of our podcast. Hope you're enjoying it. Now is the cream of the crop. The cream of the crop. This is the
Crop of the
section. Crop of the cream. This is a section where we're going to every week compile a list of games in certain genres, certain
There's
sections.
going to be top 10s and 5s, basically.
Top 10s, 5s, 7s, 14s, 28s, 81s, whatever we feel like doing, and we're going to talk about them. So this week, we came up with the idea. It started off, okay, so our list started off as we'll do our top 10 games of all time. And then we decided that's probably not going to work because that could be Corey is a lover of a certain series, and 8 of his top 10 were going to be from that series. And I was like,
Yep.
that's going to be boring.
And then the other 2 from that top 10 will be clones of that series.
So that'd get kind of boring. So we kind of had an idea. Well, Corey had this idea of doing a time capsule list. And so why don't you just explain what the time capsule concept is?
Okay, so basically, we're say the world was about to end. Not really end, but
Dun dun dun!
like there's about to be like a post-apocalyptic setting, but you'd still have video games you could play. But every other game in existence is going to get destroyed. So you got to come up with 10 games that are going to survive this and live on. And then so like the next generations, when you're gonna show them video games, these are the 10 games you're showing them. So I obviously wouldn't show them 10 Zelda games because that'd get boring really fast.
Yep.
So this is going to be kind of a grab bag of genres, just games that we feel need to survive, like basically, right? Is that
Yes. Yeah. That was kind of the mindset I had. Like, I didn't want to just put games on there, like, because when you first explained this idea to me, I really enjoyed it. But then I was like, well, I'm just going to put a bunch of online multiplayer games. And I was like, no, because I like playing more than that. So I tried to limit it to just 1 or 2 from each genre to give a nice variety. It was kind of my mindset.
my thought process is internet won't exist. So
Oh, no internet. Oh, that might mess up one of my games.
oh really?
Yeah. Anyway, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
Well, no. It would still be a good game even without internet because you could do.
Okay. Well,
couch.
just to reiterate, I didn't put games that I knew would last a long time because I could easily put games that like it would take you 500 hours each to beat and then they'd last you. I'm picking games that are masterpieces, deserve to live on. Like I want people to experience them and them not just be like some talk of legend. Like I want them played. That's what I picked.
And I had that mindset too. I wanted great games on here, but I also did what I personally would like to play as well, and games that not necessarily, like I said, had a huge amount of replayability. Although that did factor into some of my games, like I had some good replayability. I didn't want just. I don't have just story games either. You know, I have some games that you can play with yourself, play with others, play with multiple people. I kind of wanted a nice little variety. I didn't want just like you said. I didn't want 10 Zelda games. I didn't want 10 Call of Duty games.
Final Fantasy
I didn't want
1
that
through
as
10.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 1 through 10. Although, like, would I be upset with any of those lists? No. Like, if that was all I had, they'd be good lists. But I would like to have a little bit of variety.
Yeah. And just to let you guys know, just to put a little side note, we're only putting games we've actually played.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that. Because there's certain games that have come out recently that Corey and we have such a big backlog that we haven't played some of the main title games. #unashamed.
Also, there's classics that I haven't played yet that everyone talks
that's true.
Like
That's
Symphony
true.
of the
Like
Night.
Klonoa.
I've never really tried it, so I can't really put it.
Symphony of the Night. But just to name a few of these major games, so you don't hate us, that would probably be on my list if I had played them. God of War, the new one. Spider-Man, haven't played that yet. Red Dead Redemption 2. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Just a couple that come off the top of my head that probably are amazing games. And I hear are amazing games, and I would probably have them on my list somewhere if I played them. So please don't hate me for not having your favorite game on my list.
I bet a lot of listeners are actually like retro gamers mostly, so they'd probably be even more mad if their retro favorites didn't make the list than the new stuff.
I got you, which I can respect. I can respect that.
Yeah.
So
I might be wrong. Just saying.
Could be wrong. Hopefully, we have a large plethora of people listening to our plethora. That's my favorite.
I hope there's just one of you, honestly.
It's like those posts that you're super happy about on Facebook or whatever, and you have that one random person like it all the time. And you're like, thank you.
Yeah. You're like, thanks, loyal listener. I mean,
loyal Facebook friend that I've never actually met in real life. You're a friend of a friend.
Might be a bot for all I know.
Who knows? Okay, so we did a top 10, but if you're anything like me, I had a couple games that I wanted to add to my list but couldn't they didn't quite make the cut. Some honorable mentions, if you will.
Yes.
Did you have a few?
I
How many
have
did you
4.
have? I have 4 as well. So let's not spend a lot of time on the honorable mentions, but let's just trade off going down the list of the honorable mentions and
I mean, the
explain
honorable
why they
mentions
didn't make your list.
can get a decent discussion too because they didn't make the 10. You know, you feel kind of bad.
Yeah,
for
I guess they kind of
I'm
need
just
some
kidding.
defending. They need some defending. So
Especially if some of these like people would get mad that they're in honorable mentions.
I think one of mine, people might get mad. Well, I think half the people will get mad that I didn't include it on the list, and the other 10 will be like, "Thank goodness that's not on
Yeah.
this list." So
So
I guess I'll just start. I'll start with that game. You okay with that? I'll start with
yeah,
that game.
do
That
your
game
one honorable
is,
mention.
huh?
Do one honorable mention. What is it?
One honorable mention. One, it it's Fortnite. Fortnite did
What?
not make my list, and I know it was close. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't the closest on my honorable mention, but it was close. Now, Fortnite, everyone knows what Fortnite is, free to play, online battle royale. It deserves recognition because it, I think, has changed how gaming is going to be from here on out.
Like free
Whether
with
Yes,
microtransactions?
whether you like it or not, you have to respect what it's done to the gaming community from here on out. Like it's changed how we. There's a few games throughout our like the generation of games that have just like shifted how the video game industry is going to go, and I believe Fortnite is definitely one of them. Love it, hate it, whatever it is, you have to respect it. But it is not on my list. Honorable mention.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I can see that. It didn't even cross my mind, but
Oh,
I can
really?
see how you put that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
My first honorable mention is Okami.
Okami, a Zelda clone. Who would have thought?
Well,
I
no,
haven't
it's
played
not
this game.
just a Zelda clone.
No,
It's
I want to play this game. It looks amazing.
This
Really.
game is gorgeous for one. Gorgeous. One of the
And you can play as
prettiest
a
games.
dog.
The thing is, this game started on the PS2, has went through the Wii, you know, the PS3, PS4. It's gorgeous no matter where you play it. Not a lot of games can say that. Not a lot of games can go across generations like this and remain just beautiful like this game.
Are they coming out with a Switch version of this?
Yep, it's already out, I think.
Oh, it is? Oh,
It's
man,
either
that'd be a
out or
great
about to
Switch
come out.
game. That'd be a great
Yeah.
Switch game. It
It
is
is.
one of those games that just gets remade on everything. It doesn't.
It is.
It's on
And it
every system.
stays
You have a
gorgeous.
system, you can get Okami. You have a
Yeah.
Game Boy Advance, Okami's probably on it.
I mean, on the surface, when you're just elevator pitching it, you're gonna say Zelda clone. But it also delves deep into Japanese mythology. The story does, so you learn a lot as well. And the music's just amazing. Like this is just like one of those games that I just want to turn on and just stare at my screen, just live in. Like you know, the other just games you
Yeah.
just want to live in.
Yep.
It's like that. I love Okami. It is honorable mention.
It's
The only reason
Slave.
it didn't make top
Slave's
10.
one of those I want to live in.
Yeah, until you glitch.
Yeah, until
But it didn't make top 10 just because it's a Zelda clone. But
Okay.
it definitely
Fair enough.
needs to be mentioned.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so my next honorable mention is probably on your list somewhere. The Last of Us.
No, it's not on my list, but I did think about it.
Okay,
It
Last
got honorable
of Us.
mention of honorable mentions.
Oh, honorable mention of honorable mention. The third runner up. Anyway, The Last of Us is a fantastic game. One of my favorite games of all time. However, it did not make the list because I have a couple story-based games, and like I said earlier, I don't want my list completely being story-based games. And it's a little bit of a survival horror slash escort mission, and I know some people don't like either one of those genres. So I don't want to force people into playing those genres.
It's also depressing. I mean, for a
It is depressing, but it's also one of the most beautiful games you'll ever play.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. Like the giraffe scene, without getting into spoilers, the giraffe scene is one of my favorite moments in all of video games.
Which is a Jurassic Park Easter egg.
Oh, look at you, look at you.
you
Anyway,
know that?
Last of Us did not make
Did you
it.
know that, Greg?
I did not know that.
Have you
But
seen
it makes
Jurassic Park?
complete sense. I have seen, and when you said that, the scene popped into my mind.
When they're
So
in the
I know what
tree
you're
and
talking
the
about.
Brachiosaurus comes up and sneezes on her
Yep.
and stuff? Yep. Okay.
Great,
Very,
great
very
part of
good
the game.
choice. I like The Last of Us.
Yeah. honorable
My
mention.
next one is Silent Hill 2.
Silent Hill 2, another survival horror. Is that the one with Pyramid Head?
Yeah, Silent Hill is Pyramid Head. Yeah,
Oh,
I think they all have
is Pyramid They all have them. Okay,
Yeah.
it's kind of like Resident Evil and that big
Zombies. I'm
guy. No,
just
not
kidding.
and zombies. No, there's not a million pyramid heads.
I'd say Resident Evil and the Lickers, because like Lickers are enemies that show up, but I think Pyramid Head's one dude. He's
I
like
was
the
th- I was I was thinking he was like the big dude in Resident Evil. What's his name? The
Nemesis.
Nemesis. Yeah, like there's Nemesis in almost every Resident Evil game. Is right?
I
I haven't played a lot of them.
I think I've only seen Nemesis in 2. I saw him in
Oh, never
6
mind.
and 3, but yeah,
Sorry.
the only I guess you haven't played a lot, so you're like, oh, Nemesis.
No, I really haven't.
Yeah, but he's basically like a mascot of Silent Hill, so
Oh,
he's gonna pop
Ganondorf.
up.
He's like Ganondorf.
Yeah, there you go.
Sure. Yeah.
Or-
sure.
or
Yeah. Shut up,
Tingle.
Greg. Anyway.
But yeah, Silent Hill. This game is survival horror, but it has another aspect of it that other survival horror games don't always hit, and that's just the feeling it gives you, like the emotion, the atmosphere. Because in Silent Hill, you don't ever feel safe. Nothing can be going on. You still feel stressed out. Like that's because the combat sucks too, like on purpose.
Yeah. Is it
But,
tank controls?
I don't think so.
Kind of like the old Resident Evil.
I don't.
Silent Hill 2. Is that PlayStation 2?
Yeah.
Is
If it is
Xbox
tank
as well?
controls, I don't remember, but they actually did a remaster on PS3, Silent Hill 2 and 3 collection.
Oh, really?
Which I'd
Is
like
that the
to play.
Homecoming collection or whatever?
No, Homecoming is its own thing.
Oh, disregard. Belay that.
Yeah, but it is on PS3 as well, though. Homecoming.
Oh. I'll have
But,
to play. Is Silent Hill the one where you start? Is there a Silent Hill game? This might be two or not. Where you start off in like the middle of a dark forest or something, and you just hear someone dragging a sword or like a shovel or something.
I don't remember starting off in a fort. They usually start off in like a city, like you're in the street, like a foggy street.
Like Raccoon City or something.
Yeah. And there's like just random monsters walking around in the darkness.
Do you have a sword? Are you able to fight back? Is it Resident Evil style where you have a gun or something?
Yeah, you can have a gun or like a pipe or something, but the combat's bad. Like they
So the main goal is to run away and hide.
yeah, avoid and do the puzzles. The puzzles in Silent Hill games are always great.
Oh, really?
And another thing I love about Silent Hill 2 and 3 and possibly 4 that a lot of games don't do, the combat and the puzzle difficulties are separate. So I drop the combat difficulty to the bottom and I bump the puzzle difficulty all the way to the top, and it makes for a good experience because you don't have to deal with the annoying fighting, but you get to think through all these puzzles. So
okay.
And still have the experience of being scared, basically.
Oh.
Maybe we'll do a playthrough of this around Halloween. Maybe we'll make you play it.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
But yeah, I had to put
I'm
that.
not good at scary games. I'm not good. I jump at
Well, like I
everything.
said, you can drop the combat and bump the puzzles.
I would definitely drop the combat and put it on super dweeby easy noob mode.
Or as the What's Good Game girls call that mode, baby mode.
Yeah. That always makes me laugh. Okay, my next honorable mention, number 3, is I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this game. Is Black Ops 3. It's my favorite Black Ops, my favorite Call of Duty game because it introduced the specialist. I think there'd be a lot of replayability to it, and I could have a lot of fun. And there's zombie mode,
And it has
campaign mode, and online multiplayer. But you said internet didn't exist, so you could also play in yeah, and that makes sense. So, what post-apocalyptic world does internet exist ever? I didn't even consider that, but. It's got good couch play too. Anyway, so without going too much into that,
it's a good one. That's a good one.
Yep.
My next one here is Final Fantasy VII.
What?
Why are you mad at?
I actually don't have any Final Fantasy on my list. Don't judge me.
FF7's just very revolutionary. It was that first Final Fantasy to take us out of the 16-bit era and into the 3D gaming space. Very amazing story. The combat was amazing.
Have you beat it?
Yes, I did beat it.
I have not. Have you beat all 7 of the discs?
I have beaten all the discs, yes, and I've gotten all of the special characters. You have to do side stuff to get. Junior helped me get them.
I'm really excited for the PlayStation 8 remake. They said PlayStation 4 remake, but it's not going to be out before Generation 8 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So whenever they do release it, when I'm in a retirement home in 50 years, I will play it.
Yeah, I'll play episode 1 when I turn 80 on my 80th birthday. Because it's going to be episodic, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
It's such a big game I think that's why they cut it up. They're like, if we legit wait till we finish this game, it's gonna be like a decade.
Yeah. Well, I did debate that game. I debated having that one in Final Fantasy X because obviously Final Fantasy VII is so iconic, but I've never beaten it, so I didn't feel good about putting it on my list.
Yeah.
And Final Fantasy X is phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
That was really close to being. That's like my honorable. It's my favorite Final Fantasy game. I've only been a couple. I guess I don't play through very many series. I've been learning that the past couple weeks. I haven't played through Pokemon. I haven't played through Zelda. I haven't played through Final Fantasy. Oh man. Anyway, I need to play more games.
But yeah, this is just an iconic game, very important game that I feel like needs to move on. But I didn't want to put it on my list for reasons that will come to fruition eventually.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Cloud is one of the most iconic video game characters out there. I think everyone knows who Cloud is.
Cloud
the big sword,
is liked
the spiky
until
hair.
you beat the game.
Is what?
He's liked and appreciated until you finish Final Fantasy VII.
Did you just ruin Final Fantasy VII for me?
No, I didn't. I didn't ruin it for anyone.
I'm never playing it now. Thanks a lot.
Okay, what's your fourth honorable mention, Greg?
Okay, last honorable mention is a game we've talked about already, and it was on my list until another game came into it. But it is Limbo.
Okay.
And I was talking to Danielle. Danielle's my wife about this list. She's not a video game player, but she's played Limbo. And we were kind of talking about it, which is it's strange. It's one of those games
because it has a really steep learning curve. So I'm like,
yes, I helped her. I kind of like guided her. But when I played it, it was one of those games that when you play it, you're like, oh my god! Like the experience of it. Once you played it and finish it, you're like, oh my gosh! I've got to have someone else play this. And that's why I wanted it on my list, is because it was brought to me by our mutual friend Junior, who was like, Greg, you have to play this game. So I played it, and I was like, holy crap, I've got to tell someone about this game. Like, which is weird because there's no dialogue. There's no, like, there is a story, but you can play it without really ever realizing the story.
What's weird is it pulls a certain emotion out of you without even talking. It really does.
Beautifully made, beautifully crafted. The only reason why it's not on my list is it's like a 3-hour game. And once you play it the first time, you never get the same. It's kind of like watching one of those movies that has a huge twist at the end, and then you have to go back and watch the movie again, but you'll never again experience that movie in your being naive. Same way. Yeah. So it's a game that everyone has to play. You have to play this game if you've never played it before. It's a super short, easy. It's not easy, but once you get the controls down, it's a simple game. Only a couple hours, but once you play it one time, it's an experience you need. But that's why it didn't make my list, is because it's a shorter game, and you'll never play it again, like the same way again.
I think anyway. the way that game pulls an emotion out of you, I feel like that's kind of what hurt it, in my opinion. Like whenever I played it, because I was expecting a certain type of game, and then it pulled an emotion out of me that I wasn't ready for. And
I didn't want it. It got me in the feels.
I don't know. It's hard to. That game's really hard to explain. I need to replay it, honestly. Like,
it's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah.
But it didn't make my list.
Yeah. Well.
All right. What's your last honorable mention before we get into
my last one, which I think might make some people mad, is Super Mario Brothers 3.
What? That didn't make your list? How dare you? I hate you forever.
Well, this is like, to a lot of people, Super Mario Brothers 3 is a top 3 game of all time. Like,
yeah, it's a good game.
I knew I wanted a side-scrolling Mario game somewhere, just mentioned, and so 3 hit it because it has the style you want from Mario 1, but improved in every way you can think of, and it's still very playable to this day. So everyone knows about Mario 3. There's no reason to even go deep into Mario 3. It needs to be mentioned. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So you want to start our list?
Sure.
Start our list.
My number 10,
Number 10.
Resident
Actually,
Evil
hold
4.
on. Resident Evil 4? Okay, never mind. I was gonna be like, let me say something real quick, but
What
Resident
were you
Evil
gonna
4.
say?
Let's talk about it. No, let's talk about Resident Evil 4. I actually have Resident Evil 4 on PlayStation 2,
Have you
but
played
I've
it?
never played it.
Okay. Well, okay, so Resident Evil 4 was very revolutionary. I mean, some would even say in a bad way revolutionary because it took what the nucleus of Resident Evil series was and flipped it on its head and made it a over-the-shoulder third-person shooter. Like
Which is
it
way
was
better.
well, a lot of people think that ruined Resident Evil because they don't
What?
like 6, they didn't like 5. Me personally, and probably you, I like all these games,
Hmm.
but there is something definitely different between Resident Evil 4 and 3 and back.
What really stopped me from ever getting into the Resident Evil series was the tank controls of that made it so iconic. And I know
Yeah,
there's a lot of controversy over that, but I'm not a fan of tank controls. But I really we played through 6 together. We're currently playing through 6 together.
yeah,
There might be a let's play coming of it.
definitely.
But that's a side note. But Resident Evil 4, I saw you and Junior play because you and Junior played through this whole thing, right? You guys
Resident
like
Evil 4
100%ed
is
it?
not co-op.
Oh, it's not co-op. What's the
No,
co-op one that I'm thinking of?
5.
5. Okay. Well, I saw you guys play through 5, and I was like, oh, this is a cool little game, over the shoulder. Very. The game it reminded me of at the time was Gears of War.
Really? There's no
Yes.
cover-based shoot. Well, kind of.
Yeah, but Gears of War, I guess, was my first introduction into the over-the-shoulder third-person shooter games.
Yeah.
And that was the first I ever saw. And then I saw you guys do a zombie horror playthrough of it, and I was like, oh, that looks fun. But no, I've never played it.
But yeah, RE4 though, it retained the scariness of the past games while adding in the action and the more fluid movement. It's very revolutionary. It's considered one of the best games of all time for obvious reasons. And then they decided to put the horror to a back seat and just bump the action, which I think that's where they messed up. I don't think Resident Evil 4 necessarily messed it up itself. They tried to play too much on Resident Evil 4's success. But I liked 5 and 6, so I can't really. I'm just talking in other people's mindsets. So
Okay.
yes, RE4. That scene where when you first get to the village and the bells dinging, like nothing's going to beat that scene. Like the true like what the hell's about to happen. Like you guys that have played it know what I'm talking about. But yeah, RE4 had to put it on the list. What's your
Man.
number 10, Greg?
Are you ready? You ready for
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
Super Mario 3.
Okay, nice. That's funny.
That's why I was like, hey, let me just say this real quick. This is the game that bumped out Limbo from my list, and without getting too much into
deservingly
it, because you kind of talked about it a little bit. Side scrolling. It's my first ever Mario game that I played. My dad bought one of my few gaming experiences with my dad. Is him and I every night before we go to bed would try and beat this game. We never did beat it. I still to this day don't think I've ever beaten it. I always got to Bowser's World and never finished.
I've only
But
beaten Mario 1 and Super Mario World, like the side-scrolling Marios, anyways.
oh, okay, I was about to say I know you've beaten more than that. But
Yeah.
back to Super Mario 3, it's a classic game that anyone can play, and that's what I thought of when I put it on the list. It's a super fun game. There's a ton of different ways to play it because you can skip worlds, go to different worlds. It has some uniqueness to it, and I think almost anyone can play it. It's simple enough controls, simple enough concept that a casual person can play it and enjoy it, but also deep enough and there's enough variety to it that the hardcore gamers can enjoy it as well.
hmm It's
And
like
you can play as Luigi too, my
yeah,
boy.
it's
Yeah,
like the
I love.
earlier levels. Like as a little kid, you beat the first couple worlds over and over again, but then like the hardcores, like when they get to the later worlds, it gets pretty
It's a fun
crazy.
game. Yeah, and all the powers are cool too. So, all right,
Yeah.
number 9, Corey.
What's your number 9, Greg? Because
You
I
want
don't
me
want
to?
to keep talking about games before you get to them, so I'm gonna
Oh,
switch
okay.
off.
I get what you're saying. My number 9 is Halo 2.
Oh, okay. I like it. I
So,
almost had Halo on my honorable mentions. Almost. It's like an
see,
honorable mention.
this is why I had Black Ops 3 on there, and I was thinking about fun games to play with each other. And as fun as Black Ops 3 is, and it's a fun game, the multiplayer aspect of it with the campaign and the zombies, I've had more fun playing Halo 2 with my friends than any other shooter game out there. Because growing up, that was the game you played, was Halo
Yeah.
2. And if you got that sword, you better watch out, because
It
I'm
was
coming
over.
for you. Sword was my favorite.
The sword or
Absolutely
the
my
rocket
favorite.
launcher. Like, oh
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh man, it was so much fun, and I think Halo 2 is really where I fell in love with first-person shooter games. And the campaigns are really fun and interesting. Alien, sci-fi, fantasy. Oh man, I could go on and on about Halo 2, but I feel like in a time capsule post-apocalyptic world, Halo 2 would be a fun game. Have your friends over, play on the couch. You can play it.
I have a let's play of it on my channel, Halo 2 Anniversary.
Oh, look at you! Look at you! I would like to play more Halo 2. I need more Halo 2 in my life.
You need to play Anniversary, dude. They really
I,
cleaned
I
it up.
need I need to. Yeah, I've seen some of your gameplay of it actually. So,
Thanks, man.
all right, Corey, what's your number 9?
My number 9, BioShock. The
BioShock
first one.
1
Yes.
on play. Are you saying PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4 remastered?
Wherever you want to get it, get it.
Wherever you want to get it. Okay, okay.
This game
BioShock
initially
1.
was a 360 exclusive when it came out. So 360 was my first system, but I did not play BioShock on it. My friends kept telling me about it, and I was like, okay,
Can't
I'll
believe
try
this
it.
is only number 9 on your list.
I know.
I think it
But
deserves way more credit than that.
I eventually got a PS3, and this was my first PS3 beat, actually. The first game I ever beat on
Oh,
PS3. My first trophies came from BioShock. Very special game.
what? Oh, that's cool.
Um,
Now you're like level 40.
yeah, I used to take my little 22-inch Vizio flat screen TV over to my buddy's house with my PS3, and I beat BioShock 1 and 2 at his house. But this game needs to be on
Is that why he's
everyone's...
never played these?
Yeah, because I played
He
them around
watched
him.
you play it? Oh,
He
okay.
didn't really play it. He didn't really watch me like intently, but he paid attention enough to be like, you know.
Yeah. He saw the
Um,
big reveal. One of the biggest plot twists in video game history is in
Infinite.
BioShock 1. No, BioShock 1.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. In my
I think,
opinion, one
but
of the biggest plot twists
Infinite
ever.
had an even bigger one though than 1.
I think 1 was bigger than Infinite.
Really?
Yes, because a lot of people, well, I guess
Without
without getting
spoiling.
too much into Infinite, um, maybe I feel like that way because I played them in order. A lot of people have only played Infinite and haven't played BioShock 1 or 2, and if that's the case, I could understand your mindset. But having played BioShock 1 and 2 and have a little idea of the world you're in when it comes to Infinite, the twist wasn't as big to me, I guess, as BioShock 1. BioShock 1 hit me out of nowhere.
Yeah. I played
Does-
BioShock 1 so far ahead of whenever I played Infinite that I might
I
have
got you.
forgotten by that point or something, but
It wasn't as fresh, I guess. Yeah.
yeah.
Which, I mean, yeah, makes sense.
I will say another monumental part of BioShock to me was the first time I thought, wow, this water looks really good. Like, the very
Great
first
water
of the game.
graphics.
Like, that
love
was my
water
initial
graphics.
thought, and it's always in my head. I've always compared water to BioShock ever since then, playing games.
Yeah. And
Which,
it has some jump scares, but I don't really describe it as a survival horror. Even though there's definitely survival horror content in it, I feel like.
the thing about BioShock 1 and 2, I don't know about 3 as much, is you are way more powerful than all the enemies around you, but you're creeped out the whole time. Like, you're
Yes,
still
there was
creeped out.
definitely times where I was like, "Oh my god!"
Lorena actually stayed clear of this game for the longest time just because
Lorena
of,
is Corey's fiance.
yeah, my fiance. She watched her brother play a little bit of it, and the only part she saw was a dark room and hearing laughter in the room, and it just
Creepy,
freaked her out.
creepy
So
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, BioShock. I don't know, just a very atmospheric game. I even love the hacking puzzles and stuff in this
Mhm.
game. Very fun. Uh, the plasmids you use, which you have a power in one hand, gun in the other hand. that wasn't really a thing up until BioShock. If it
I was
it
gonna say
wasn't.
something on that if you didn't say that. I think that concept really, like Fortnite, had a big shift in the video game
Yeah.
industry, having
If it
like
was a
L1,
thing, it wasn't
L2.
super prevalent.
Yeah, L like the L buttons be your left arm and the right buttons be your right arm.
Yeah.
Simple concept, beautifully executed.
Yeah. And at that point, there weren't very many first-person shooters that also had a great story backing them. I know there
Yes.
were some around that time, obviously Half-Life and whatnot, but BioShock was definitely a heavy hitter in that area. So yes, had to make my list. Number 9, a little low. I know. If I debated long enough, I'd probably bump it a little bit, but I do love BioShock.
Shock. Very, very worthy of being on the time capsule
Yeah.
list. Yeah.
What is your number 8, sir?
Number 8,
Number 8.
Kingdom Hearts 1.
Oh, nice.
Man, what can I say about this game? Kingdom Hearts is phenomenal. I would say Kingdom Hearts 1 is the best of the series. And the main reason I say that is because it introduced the world and you weren't confused. A lot of the other games, if you just pick it up, you'll probably be confused unless you played the Game Boy games or the side games, and a lot of people don't. Kingdom Hearts 3 just came out, and I've been hearing from a lot of people because very few people have played all 9 games, I want to say, in the series, so a lot of people don't understand the story as well. Kingdom Hearts 1, you don't have to worry about that. You get all the fun of the game, you get all the fun of Disney, all the fun of Final Fantasy without having to worry about not understanding the story.
Hmm.
Super nostalgic game for me. I've beaten it on PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. I beat it like if they produce Kingdom Hearts 1, I buy it.
You didn't beat you beat Kingdom Hearts 1 on PS4?
Pretty sure I have. I might not have.
I thought you just got that.
I was thinking I beat it on PlayStation. You might be right. Anyway,
Anyways.
moving on. Super fun game. You guys all know about Kingdom Hearts 1. I don't want to get too much into it. But great game. A game I would love to play if I had a time capsule game list. Yep.
I will discuss more about it in a minute.
Spoiler alert. Hashtag spoiler.
Uh,
All right, Corey, what's your number 8?
Number 8.
Please tell me it's Kingdom Hearts.
Super Metroid.
Super Metroid.
My number
look
8,
at you.
Super Metroid. So I never
Is this the one with the big reveal
big reveal.
of Samus? Is Super Metroid the one that kind of shows her without her helmet for the first time?
Oh, maybe. I don't remember.
Anyway, sorry.
I didn't beat Super Metroid, but I got really far into it before the emulator I was using crashed on me, and I
Is
couldn't.
this SNES, Super Nintendo?
Yeah, Super Nintendo.
Okay.
So I did beat Zero Mission on Game Boy, which fantastic game. I actually was gonna put Zero Mission on this list instead of Super Metroid, but more people played Super Metroid, and they're the same kind of gameplay. Zero Mission
Is the one the sequel to the other?
Zero Mission is the remake of the first game.
Okay, and it's on Game Boy Advance or just
Yeah, Game Boy
Okay.
Advance. Yeah, and then amazing game. I loved it so much. And then Samus Returns remake of the second game on 3DS, and then Super Metroid. And then there's
Is the Prime series part of that, or is it its own storyline?
I don't know.
This isn't your game, but I was trying to figure this out actually today, if they are all connected or not.
I'm assuming they're connected somewhat, but I don't. I kind of take it as Zelda and like the Toon Link and then the regular Link kind of different
Okay.
lines because one side.
And that's what I was kind of thinking it was. Like they're in the same world, but they're kind of connected, but they're not prevalent on each
Yeah.
other.
So I need to do some research on that before
Yeah, I
saying
need
that.
to.
Sure. If any
If
of
you guys
viewers
know, let us know email us and let us know, because we would love you to email us at
and we will read all of the emails
Yes.
on the podcast unless it's obviously can't be read for whatever reason.
Yeah, we will read your emails at rescapepodcast at gmail.com. That's
Yes.
rescapepodcast at gmail.com.
Yes, but Super Metroid, it did a wonderful. The thing about Metroidvania games, if you haven't played them, is you'll go to an area, do some stuff, And then there'll be like a way to progress a little bit from that area, but you can't do it yet because you don't have the certain item, certain whatever. And then so you leave, and then you'll backtrack to this area again. Now you can progress. So it's like it makes a bigger world out of a smaller map, basically.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So it was really good about doing that on I was gonna say on like a lesser system, but I mean RPGs have big worlds. But yeah, Metroidvania games are like that. So this is the first real Metroidvania game. I don't count I mean the NES ones count, I guess, but they're little rough. They're a little rough.
Yeah, I mean, understandably.
Mostly because there's no map in those games. And when
I
you're
need a map.
backtracking and having to revisit areas and remember like what door it was that you needed this item for and you don't have a map, that's rough.
But you also got to take this into consideration, people that are listening. Corey is one of the most directionally challenged people on this earth.
Oh, but
So,
it's a known
Google
thing.
Maps is the only reason he's able to make it to work every day.
Yeah, basically. But I'm just saying, like people actually had to draw out maps back in the day
Oh,
so
yeah.
they could get around.
Which was fun, but I'm glad we don't have to do it anymore.
Yeah, so Super Metroid, it has a map. It has like, if I remember correctly, it has like a little bleep, like a little bloop, like circle to like, oh, I need to go there type of thing.
I got
But yeah, Super
Waypoint.
Metroid, amazing game. If you haven't played it, play it. I gotta
I've
go
never
back
played
to
it. I've really enjoyed the Metro games that I've played, though. And I voted Metroid Prime for the game of the month. Did you
So
see
did
that?
I.
Oh, yeah, I did see you. Did you take it because I voted for it? Copycat.
I've voted Metroid Prime 5 times now and it hasn't won.
Oh, okay. Well, now that I voted it, maybe we can help our chances of playing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to number 7. What's your number 7, Corey?
Okay, my number 7 is Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts 1. Huh.
Yep.
What's this game about?
So, going off of what Greg said a lot of the technical stuff about Kingdom Hearts. It was obviously the first mashup of Disney and Final Fantasy, which everyone thought was crazy. Back in the day, everyone thought this is going to be stupid and not going to work.
So crazy, it just might work.
If you guys don't know the story about that,
I
is
didn't really talk about
an exec from Disney and an exec from Kingdom Hearts, I guess, were in an elevator just talking, like ran into each other, and it was born. I'll just go there. But a lot of games for me, or whatever emotions were driven out of me during playing them, and whenever I first played Kingdom Hearts, on that island, running around
Destiny
finding all the fruits or whatever, doing the side quests, that feeling will never leave me that I felt when I don't know, it was just like I was just so happy doing that part. Like that's why that island I like so much. I was just like, this game is amazing. Like I wasn't even doing much, but it's just the island. But it's kind of funny.
Beautiful game.
Yeah, it's kind of funny thinking back to it now, though. I don't know if you thought about this, Greg, but that island's so blissful and so pretty and so relaxed that it's basically the calm before the storm for that game.
Oh, absolutely. It's the antithesis of the darkness that
Yeah.
ensues. And
Yeah,
I
the
think
fact-
that was beautifully designed.
Oh yeah, and the fact that there's a cave there where, if I'm remembering right, I haven't played one in a while. Isn't there a cave
Yep.
on that island, and like
With a
that's
door.
where the darkness starts,
Yep.
basically?
Yep. Spoiler alert. Not really, because that happened in the first hour or two. And I'm sure a lot of people played Kingdom Hearts 1 by now.
Yeah.
If you haven't, go play it. Do
So it's
yourself a
almost
favor.
like this beautiful, blissful island's like closet of skeletons is what that cave is.
I thought you were going to say butthole. I was like...
No. Or butthole. It's dirty little secret. But yeah, and I love Disney. Like I'm kind of a Disney enthusiast. I love Disneyland. I love Disney movies. So, and I also am a Final Fantasy fan. So it's just a perfect mashup for me. But
they did a
just
great job.
the emotion from that island, man, it sticks with me. Like there are certain games that move me right when I start playing them, and I can never get that feeling back again, even though I want it. But there's just certain games that move me a certain way when I first play them, and this was one of them, Kingdom Hearts.
Absolutely. And it was only one spot higher than mine.
Yeah.
Our first double of our list. I'm sure it
Yeah.
won't be the last.
Nope.
Okay. So my number 7, Batman Arkham City.
Ooh, yeah. I do
Yes.
like it.
Now, like I said earlier in the podcast, I'm currently playing through this game, and I think this is the only... No, there's another game on here that I haven't beat. I have not beat this game yet, but it is the perfect blend of a superhero game that I want. Now, I know some of you will probably argue that Spider-Man does everything Batman Arkham City does better. But like I said, I haven't played Spider-Man. And probably if I play Spider-Man, it would probably take this lit spot instead of Batman. Batman, you play as Batman. The fighting is so smooth, so beautiful. Everything I would want Enslaved to be, but it's not. It's perfect. And I love comic book heroes. I like Batman a lot. It truly makes me feel like Batman when I play this game. And you get to play as other heroes without spoiling it. You don't just play as Batman.
I
And
do
all the
actually
characters are in it.
I just
are
want to
amazing.
interject it's not a spoiler, but it's a side note. If you're playing this game on PS3 or 360, it would behoove you to buy the Catwoman DLC, or else you will get a
Behoove
lesser
you.
experience than
Yes.
other,
That is one of the characters you get to play as.
because
Anyway,
her story goes with that story
side
together.
and side, yes.
Okay. Yeah, continue, Greg,
Anyway,
sorry.
yeah, beautiful game. I would want a game like this to change up the monotony of normal games. I would want a superhero beat 'em up game, a fighting type game, and you can do what you can be stealthy in this game, you can be aggressive in this game, and it's just a beautiful game. There's side quests that are fun. You get to take on the Riddler, figure out puzzles, and I don't know, it's just a good game. The voice acting is amazing. Mark Hamill does an amazing job as the Joker. Very, very fun game that I would recommend to anyone who likes any sort of superhero.
Yep, I love that game as well, and I'm just going to say that even after playing all of the Arkham games, Arkham City is still my favorite out of all.
I almost put Asylum on here because I enjoyed Asylum so much, but City offers so much more.
City is way more open. Asylum, you're very
Yes.
confined, which
Yes.
they did it's really
Asylum
hard.
is a little more linear.
Yeah, it's
Not
really hard
it's not
for
super linear, but you know what I mean. More of a feel.
yeah. It's hard
Sorry.
for any media to like enclose whatever they're doing in one area and still make it interesting. This is another side note, which is why I like Cheers so much, the sitcom. They're always at the same bar. They don't, like they're very rarely outside of this one bar, yet they still keep you interested somehow, which Asylum's the Cheers of video games. Like you're in this asylum,
I've never heard that comparison before.
really cramped hallways,
Yeah.
but you're still
I-
doing your work.
Yeah, I just feel like City took everything Asylum did so well and made it even better.
Oh yeah.
And I haven't even beat it yet, so I'm excited to beat it.
I'm excited to go back to it on the Arkham collection.
Yes, and it is on PlayStation 4. I'm playing it on PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
I figured I could play it on PlayStation 3, and if I really enjoyed it, I can play it on PlayStation 4 after that.
That's
More
that's why
trophies, because I'm a trophy whore.
That's why I stayed on Rechain for a PS3, because I was like, I'm going to want to replay it eventually, so I'll just use the PS4 version for that.
There you go. All right, Corey, what is your, or 1, 2, 3, 4? So we're on 6 now?
Yeah, so I think it's year 6.
Oh, my 6? BioShock Infinite.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
We've talked about this game a little bit already. I don't want to talk too much about this game because what makes this game so amazing is the story.
Mhm.
And I was tossed up between BioShock 1 and Infinite. BioShock 2 is an amazing game, but it's not as good as 1 or 3. It gets a lot of hate, but BioShock Infinite, you're able to pick up this game without playing the first two, which I appreciate. It is related to the first two, though, so there's benefit to knowing the storyline of 1 and 2. Mainly 1. 2 is kind of its own animal. But if you played 1, you'll be rewarded in 3 with your knowledge of 1. But if you've never played 1 or 2, you can pick up 3 Infinite and really enjoy it. Beautiful artwork. You're in the sky. Fun game. Left and right hand. Powers, guns. And it's just a beautiful game with a great storyline. There's not much more you can ask from a game that BioShock Infinite does not deliver.
It also took some political chances with its
It
story.
did. It really did. Political and religious feels to it without shoving them down your throat. Some games try to shove those feels down your throat, but it's there if you want to explore into that depth as well.
Yeah.
So
I like the
true.
chances it took there without actually picking a side, I should say. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah. Beautiful game. Great Great story. Great story. Still some jump scares too. So
Yeah. There's some scary parts. The cemetery. Whew.
Yeah. So Corey, what's your number 6?
My number 6.
Number six.
The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past.
Here we go.
This
The
is
run of Zelda games are starting.
You guessed that I would have 2 Zeldas. You said you know one. You tried to guess the other one. This was the other one you did not guess.
I guessed Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Wind
I
Waker's
didn't.
amazing.
This is the first. This is the oldest Zelda game that I've actually finished. I
Link
want
to
to
the
play.
Past, isn't that like on Super Nintendo as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have some
so-
old school games on here. Look at you.
Yeah, man. You gotta
Showing
keep
your
the
age, you old man.
Zelda's my favorite series of all time. For those of you that don't know, which you don't, because this is a brand new podcast and you don't know who I am.
Don't know who I am.
I'm
I mean, they
huge
could have
Zelda
come
fan.
from YouTube.
Look at my shirt right now.
No one can see your shirt.
I'm talking to you.
Oh, I know you're a Zelda fan.
Okay, so this is a lot of people's favorite game of all time, and a lot of people's favorite Zelda of all time. Because
Really? I've never played this one.
It is a truly amazing game. It is a masterpiece. I had to put a top-down view Zelda game on here, like a 2D Zelda, because just like other games, like Metroid, for instance, it's 2 different beasts, but they both have their charms that you need to experience. And I just wanted one of those on here, action adventure. I think you guys all know Zelda by now, and you've probably played this one. So yeah, Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past is my number 6.
Is there a remake for the DS as well?
There is a sequel.
A sequel? Oh, okay.
On
Anyway,
3DS.
3DS? Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure it's on PlayStation Store or something. Not PlayStation Store. It's not on PlayStation Store. Ignore that. Nintendo Store. That's what I meant. I'm sure you could buy like a download of it. For the Switch
The
or
Wii
something.
shop closed this
Ooh.
week.
Yeah, never mind.
But yeah, possibly on. I don't know if Wii U has its own shop. It's not on Switch shop yet, though.
Oh, okay. I'm sure it will be at some point.
It is on the Super Nintendo Classic, though, the Mini.
Oh, yeah. I need one of those.
You do.
Really like.
I hacked mine, put a bunch of games on it. Okay.
That's illegal.
Anyway,
number 5. Number 5. Corey,
Ready
what's
for
your
my
number 5?
You ready?
I'm ready for your number 5. We're top
number
5.
5. Uncharted 3.
Oh. Yep.
I don't remember what the subtitle.
Yeah,
of it is.
Drake's Deception. Is that what it is?
I think so.
Yeah.
So Uncharted 2 is widely.
I'm really surprised you put 3 on your list and not 4. I thought you liked 4 better than 3.
I love 4. It just went too long. Uncharted to me needs to be about 8 hours. 4 was about 20 hours.
Oh wow. And from what I understand, I haven't played 4. It's more of a cinematic experience than a game.
I'd say it's still along the lines of the other ones.
Oh, okay.
It's still,
never mind.
Yeah.
Disregard.
I don't know. Some people might have said that. I don't know.
Anyway, back to Uncharted 3.
But a lot of people think Uncharted 2 is the greatest Uncharted of all time. It's like, that's most people's favorite too. But I love 3 just because I had, once again, feels. Certain experiences with certain games draw you to them more. 3 was the first Uncharted I platinumed, for one. 2, when me and my fiance and I, like, we hadn't just started dating, but we were still pretty in the early stages around this time. I picked up all the Uncharteds that were out, and we both played through 3 together. We were switching off. She would play her file, because she has her own trophy list, so she has to trophy whore herself too.
She plays a bunch of Click Adventures and Telltale games.
There was a part that I was trying over and over again. We were both like listening to Nicki Minaj while I was trying this part. I still remember. It was just a good memory, you know. It was at my first apartment. So yeah, just a lot of memories with Uncharted 3. So I prefer it over 2. So yeah, very fun game. Greg, you need to play all the Uncharteds.
I know you tell me this a lot, and I like them. I really do. I've beaten 1 a couple times, and I'm about halfway through on Uncharted 2,
which a lot of people consider the best one.
It's really fun. I'm in the mountains and doing all sorts of puzzles and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Yep.
But,
so, Greg, what is your number 5?
Number 5 is one of the few games on my list that I have not beat, but I really enjoy it, and that's Skyrim.
Okay. Yeah.
Skyrim is a game that, as you were saying earlier, you didn't put a lot of these types of games on your list, but it's a game you could spend 500 hours on. And I
Hmm.
know people that have spent 500 hours on it because there's so much to do. But there's also a storyline you can follow. I don't want to dive too much into it because I haven't, like I said, I personally have not dove too much into it. But I know it's a game that you can do whatever you want to do on it. You can burn an entire village. You can be a farmer. You can do whatever you want. And I love the openness of this game. And if I only had 10 games, I would want a game like this that I could go back to and just play multiple times, multiple different ways, and
Oh,
enjoy it.
definitely.
And there's dragons. Who doesn't like dragons?
Yeah. For me with Skyrim,
Because you've
while
played a lot more of this game than I have, I'm
I
pretty
beat
sure.
this game, yeah, but the problem with it when it first came out was on PS3, if you hit a certain level, like leveling up wise, your game would freeze a lot. So,
Really?
yeah, so I basically speed ran this game trying to beat it. I beat it by like level 17. I didn't want to get super high level in this game.
Oh,
But outside of that, I always compare BioWare's games with Bethesda's games because they
yes.
both have
Yes.
the sci-fi and they both have the high fantasy.
Yep.
And I always preferred BioWare's side because they're more story driven, more character development, and
Give an
Bethesda.
example of each. Give an
Uh,
example for each for people who don't aren't super familiar with the
okay,
two
so
companies.
BioWare is Dragon Age and Mass Effect basically, and Bethesda is Elder Scrolls and Fallout.
Yep.
So
And you prefer Mass Effect
yeah,
and Mass Effect
more
and Dragon Age.
more character development, more story elements, less customization and less freedom, but still open world. So yeah, I always preferred the more story driven over the weaker because I feel like Bethesda they let you do so much stuff that they put the story on the back burner. Like they just kind
Yep.
of most of
Yep.
the story you're gonna get is from reading random books you find in a cave or something, and I'd rather have the story laid out in front of me. But that's just me. I do love Skyrim though and Fallout. So
Yeah. 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 And anyway, any of those games I'd be happy with. Skyrim, I just think is the most critically acclaimed. Is why I went with that. I kind
yeah.
of cheated on this one. Sorry.
Skyrim is great, hence why it's on everything. I could play it on my calculator probably.
Yeah. You're as long as it's scientific calculator.
Yeah, yeah, not one of
Anyway,
those.
number four. Are we on number four now?
Yes,
Number four. What's your number four, Corey?
I think it's your turn.
Is it my turn? Okay, I'll go. I'll go. I'm sure this is a game that might be on your list or a game from this series. It's Pokemon
Okay,
Soul Silver.
okay.
Now, I almost picked Silver because Silver is my favorite Pokemon game of all time. Now, it's the second generation. I picked Soul Silver because it's the same game. It's just in better graphics. And if I had to choose, I'd rather play the better graphics. Um, it's the second generation, and the big thing about this game is you get to play through the brand new region with a brand new Pokemon. Once you beat it, you can go back to the first generation on this game and play through 8 more gyms. So it gives it a longer lifetime, a better chance to collect more Pokemon, better chance to battle more trainers, see more world, explore better, more legendaries. It's just I wish more Pokemon games would allow me to play through multiple generations,
Hmm.
and this did it.
I'll speak more on this later.
I figured. I figured. All right. So, what's your number four?
My number four is number four. Would you like to guess
Number
what my number
four.
four is?
Ah. Hmm. Now I know two of your top games. I know what your number one and probably your number three games are. So number four, I actually don't know.
Okay, my number four is Final Fantasy X.
Oh, I should have known it was a Final Fantasy game. 10
Okay,
over 9? I thought you liked 9 better.
I've never played nine.
Oh, I was thinking you were telling me how great 9 was. Maybe that was Junior.
Everyone talks about how great nine is,
Everyone talks about I really want to play 9. Anyway,
but
back to 10.
nine is one of those games that aged like fine wine. Like when it first
Fine
came out,
one.
it wasn't seven, so everyone was like,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
then now it like looked back on it, everyone loves nine. But anyways,
yeah.
Final
Are you
Fantasy
gonna play it? Are you playing it on PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4?
10.
Yes.
I have played it on PS2 and PS3.
Oh, you haven't played it? Okay. I originally beat it on PS2.
Yeah.
So,
I originally
anyway,
got
sorry.
super far, but stuck on PS2, and then played it again a couple years ago on PS3, and I'm stuck at the last boss.
I have the guidebook for this game because it was that difficult, but I was enjoying it this much. One of the few games I beat using a guide back in
Yeah.
the day, before the interwebs.
But
Anyway,
Final
yeah, go
Fantasy
ahead.
X is another game that I specifically remember the feelings when I first started playing it. I've done that first part so much where you got to get the flint, you see the fish swim under, you know what I'm talking about?
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Very iconic beginning of that game for me. The
First Final
music in
Fantasy
this,
game with voice acting too.
oh yeah, yeah. The
Sorry.
music in this game is second to none when it comes to Final
Oh,
Fantasy, in
it's
my
so
opinion.
great, so
I
great.
love the music in this game. So yeah, a lot of people's favorite Final Fantasies, my favorite Final Fantasy.
My favorite Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Plus, how fun is Blitzball? Come
I
on,
actually
dude.
don't like Blitzball.
What? What? You could get out. Just get out. Take it off your list. I don't believe you anymore.
Hang up.
Dude. Oh man, Blitzball was so much fun. Probably because I had the guide and it told me all the best players and how to get them.
I didn't know what I was doing. It was like he's like, "Huh," and then like nothing happens. I'm like, what the
Did you
heck?
get your dad's shot? Did you get the jet shot?
Yeah, I remember practicing it and learning it, but
And you unlocked it? Oh man, it was so much fun.
I'm gonna go
Great
back
game.
and beat that freaking final boss. But I also
Oh
actually kind of
man,
want to replay it on PS4.
I
But yeah,
want to.
Final
I
Fantasy
would love
X.
to play it. Yeah, again, it's so good. Who was your main team?
I used Titus,
Of
or
course,
some of you
obvious.
guys might call him Titus.
But
Uh,
Kingdom Hearts proved its Tidus.
Auron,
Yeah, those I had those
Lulu,
two.
and Yuna.
That those were your main four. See, my main was Tidus, Orin, and Lulu until you get to the end, and I started using Yuna because I unlocked Holy.
Wait, can you only have three?
You can only have three.
I thought you had four.
Nope, you have three.
Okay.
But you can switch people out. But
Yeah, because I
Yuna,
used Lulu and Yuna a lot.
if you use if you unlock Holy, the spell Holy for
Yuna.
Yuna, game over. Easy win. No matter who you fight.
Which I have the good move right before that one. I forgot what it was called.
Yeah, I don't know. I just
Um,
fucking Holy and be like, oh.
yeah. So I need to level up more and get that. But on a
All
side
right.
note, Greg, where did your number 4?
Yes, my number 4 was Soul Silver.
Oh, so I guess it's my number 3 now, huh?
Your number 3.
My number 3 is Pokemon Silver Gold. So
Oh, look
I
there!
would
Oh, look there!
I would definitely go with Soul Silver Heart Gold.
Yes.
I beat Silver originally, and then I beat Heart Gold on DS. So I will go with the DS versions as well. But on the original, so I know you guys I keep bringing up my past experiences with games and my personal stuff, and I feel like that's important for a podcast and stuff. If the listeners get attached to me, like, not attached, but like closer to me. So
I'll get
I
close to
remember
you.
Silver and Gold came out. My friend and I got one of each. I got Silver, he got Gold. We went through it around the same amount of time. We got our 8th badge. We beat the Elite Four, and then all of a sudden we could sail across the water. And we're like, what's going on? This is before internet, okay? So we get over there, and all of a sudden I'm in Pallet Town, and I'm like, what is going on? All of a sudden we got 8 more badges to get. Like, I can't explain to you guys the excitement of knowing that we have a whole nother freaking region to explore after beating that first region.
Yeah.
Like, kids today don't get to experience like finding stuff like this out anymore, because as soon as the game drops, IGN's gonna be like, second region, like everyone's
Yep.
gonna know. So
Exactly.
it's very important memory of me like discovering that myself, like organically rather than reading it somewhere. Yeah, good times.
It's a great game. Great game.
Yeah.
I've already talked about it. I'm not going to talk about it anymore.
I think
All
on the
right.
DS versions, by the way, I think
Hmm?
whenever you go to Kanto again, I think you can get the other legendaries too from
Really? Really?
from like Gen 3.
Oh, from Gen
Pretty
3?
sure.
Oh,
Pretty sure.
nice.
You can
I'll
also
have
re-get all the starter Pokemon from Gen 1 too.
I knew that. I just didn't know you could get the legendaries. More Pokemon equals more happiness.
Yes. Greg, what is
All
your
right.
number 2?
My number 3?
Oh, number 3. Sorry.
My number 3, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because we're going to talk about it here in a second, but it is Ocarina of Time. I know we're going to talk about this in depth here in a second. I'm just going to let you know this is one of my favorite games of all time. I've beaten it multiple times on the Nintendo 64 and the GameCube. So I'm choosing the GameCube just simply for the better graphics, better controller. They're the exact same game, just their
We
GameCube
should
offers
LP
you
this.
Master Quest. Huh?
We should LP this game.
I would be down for LP in the Master Quest of it.
Okay.
I've never played the Master Quest. Anyway, beautiful game. Introduced a whole new aspect to 3D gaming. Took what Super Mario 64 accomplished with the 3D platforming and expounded upon it amazingly. Great story, great adventure. It's just a super fun game.
Yes, it is. We'll talk about it more later with me.
Yeah, I know we will. I
Anyways.
know we will. All right, so my number two is a game that my top two, I'd be willing to bet you do not have as anywhere on your list.
Okay.
So, number two is a JRPG. And it's not Nino Kuni like you might expect because I just beat that game and I absolutely love it. I only wanted one JRPG really on my list, and my favorite JRPG of all time
Radiata.
is Radiata Stories.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. If you guys have not played this game, you need to go play this game. It's only on PlayStation 2. For some stupid reason, Square Enix does not want to release it on PlayStation 4 and give me the game I desperately want. I would spend $150 on release for a normal copy of this game. I don't even care. I love this game that much. This, for those of you who are normal and have never heard of this weird game, it's you play as a knight and you are joining the Knight Academy to follow in your father's footsteps. And your father was a famous knight because he is the slayer of dragons. He slayed the dragons to save the world. You become a knight with another girl who becomes a love interest, obviously. And there's a point in the game that introduced decision making to me in video games. You have to make a decision to continue to be a knight and fight for the human world or go and defend the creatures because there's a bunch of orcs and ogres and goblins and dragons and stuff. So you can choose either to be on the human side or the monster
Yeah,
side.
there's a war,
And
basically.
there's a war that happens and you have to choose which side, and once you choose you can't go back.
And the
And
choices
how
I
you choose,
weren't they in
sorry?
humans and non-humans? Was that the
Yes,
two choices?
humans
Yeah.
and non-humans.
Yeah.
And depending on which side you choose depends on how your game plays out, and who you can recruit to be in your team. Obviously, if you choose humans, you can have humans on your team, and if you choose non-humans, you can have all sorts of creatures on your team. It's an amazing, beautiful game. So there's two different ways you can play it, and so replayability, and it's super fun. And you can kick everything. You literally can kick everything. Instead of opening stuff, you kick stuff. You can kick people, and they'll fight you. You can kick chests, and they'll open. You can kick boxes, and they'll open. You'll kick doors. Oh, it's an amazing game.
I just want I just want to Okay, I also love this game. I remember how I first even heard about it. Junior went to Walmart and bought this game back when PS2
On a
games were still at
whim,
Walmart.
right? Because he was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Square Enix,
Yeah,
oh."
he was like, "There's a new Square Enix game out," so I grabbed it and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then I ended up finding it at a pawn shop a few years later and got it and played it. But I have a very, very, very early video on my YouTube channel of this game actually, because there was a certain item. I don't know if you remember, Greg, that if you put this item on, you tried to run around because you can usually run. It would make you
Well, it's
walk
more like a
like yeah, make you
yeah,
walk like this. It's like really
yes, yeah,
slow and like really
absolutely.
for listeners that can't see, obviously, you end up walking around like you have a stick up your butt, basically. Like you're really slow and like I can't hear you, Greg. Can't hear you. Is it me? Ooh, it's not me, I don't think. Just keep recording and I'll cut this out, Greg. Uh, blah blah blah. Speakers. Did you close your voice meter?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, my mic got unplugged.
Okay, guys. Sorry.
All right, sorry about that. Technical
Um,
difficulties, but we're back on track.
What I was saying though is you walk around really funny, and so I have a video of me walking around like that and just kicking random stuff. I don't know why it's so funny that I
It's
video.
so funny. It's so funny. It's a great game. Go play it. All-time favorite.
My number two. Number two.
Number
Super
2.
Mario 64.
Say that again.
Super Mario 64.
Super Mario 64. It's an okay game.
Yeah. Amazing game. 3D platforming, basically.
Yep.
If you have not played it, go play it. I'm sure a lot of you have, so I won't spend a lot.
It's so good. Revolutionized 3D gaming.
Yeah. So, my number one now.
I wonder what it is.
One. Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Dun, dun, dun. Why are you choosing that weird game as your number one?
I know.
Yeah.
My favorite game of all time. So, once again, my experience with this game, I remember going to a game store. I used to go to a game store called Game Exchange.
Game Exchange was the place.
Yeah, the 64 games, they were just the cartridges lined up on the wall, like not the box or anything. So, I remember hearing about Zelda, and I'm pretty sure I had it on NES at the time, but I didn't know what it was really, and I was like, what's this Zelda, whatever this is? I don't know, I'll just get it. It's like $10. So I got
Was it gold?
Huh?
Was it gold cartridge as well?
Cartridge.
The the game, was it gold?
No.
No. Mine was gold.
The gray Ocarina of Time.
Okay, never mind.
But,
Disregard.
there is a gold one, but I didn't have that one. But I took it home, popped it in, running around in Kakiri Forest was like a life-changing experience, and I was like saving up rupees. I got my shield, and I was like, whoa, this is cool. Found a little crawl hole, went and got my sword, I believe. Is that where you get your sword?
Dagger.
Yeah, your dagger. Yeah. And I don't know, it was just that right there just changed me with gaming for life. Like the sense of adventure I had with that game was just so amazing that I still love it today. The music, my favorite music of all time in a game as well. I can gush for 5 hours on Ocarina of Time, so I'll just leave it alone.
Yeah, it's so great. Like the 3 temples as a kid, then growing up and being an adult with the 8 more temple or 6 more temples, however many it is. Don't judge me. I think it's 6. It's just a beautiful game.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful game. Holds up, test of time.
I got back in the day getting into the Shadow Temple.
Creepy.
Yeah, I got stuck. So I didn't have internet, obviously, because it was a long time ago. And so I got stuck, and I was so mad because I didn't know what to do, and I couldn't look it up. I found a strategy guide at a different game store, beat up old strategy guide for like $7, talked my stepdad into getting it for me, and then I was finally able to continue like a year later. I was so happy.
How many times have you beaten this game?
I've actually only completed it once.
What?
On 3DS, though, I got to the end again. So almost twice, but I've played the first like half of it like twice.
Yeah, it's a great game. I've beaten it 4 or 5 times.
So never Master Quest though, so we're gonna have to LP Master Quest.
Yeah, I need to play Master Quest. Okay. Any guesses to what my number 1 is?
Let me think. I
It's
think
not a game we've ever played or talked about before.
I don't know. I have no idea.
All right, this game. Drum roll, please. Can I have a drum roll? And number 1 is Minecraft.
What?
Minecraft. Now, hear me out. This is the biggest game of all time. And if you don't believe me, just listen. I'll explain it. This game allows you to do whatever, literally whatever you want. Have you ever played Minecraft, Corey?
I know enough about it, yes.
You know enough about it, but have you ever played it? That's the thing.
I never really played it.
That's the problem. You've never played it. All these people see this game as being just for kids.
No,
and the beauty of this game is it's that so simple that kids can play it and do amazing things with it, but also adults with creativity can do amazing things with it. Did you know someone made the entire Harry Potter world in Minecraft?
No, but I've seen lots of art in Minecraft. It's amazing. Pixel art.
The reason that I don't play this game is because it would probably be the only game I ever played if I ever truly got into it and played it more than I have. This game is an amazingly beautiful game, still selling millions of copies. It's sort of like Tetris in the sense that anybody can pick it up and play it and have a great time with it. You can survive worlds, you can build worlds, you can craft worlds, you can build a gateway to hell. Like, it's an amazing game that you can literally put it on God mode, is what it's called. I'm pretty sure God mode, and just build whatever you want. Me and my friend one time spent literally 2 days just playing it, and we built huge fortresses. And we're like, let's see who can build the best castle. 4 hours later, we both built a huge castle, and then I was like, you know, it would be really fun if we built a tunnel connecting our castles, and our castles were a million miles apart. So we built tunnels.
Who'd you play that with?
Oh, his name's Josh. This was in high school.
Oh, I know Josh.
Josh West.
Is it the one? Oh, I'm thinking of your cousin. Never mind. I don't know Josh.
Yeah. No. And so it's just an amazingly fun game that would allow you to play a long, long time on it. I know it's a little anticlimactic because you had no idea it was coming, but Minecraft, yes.
No, I can see the way you thought. I can see it.
It has a lot of playability.
Yeah, it does. I would try it.
Worth a lot of money.
Try it at least.
Yeah. Oh, so that's my list. That's your list. Did we ever decide what next week's list is going to be?
We discussed possibly doing underrated games.
Oh, yes, that's what it is. We will have next week's list will be our top underrated games. I'm not sure if we'll do a top 5 or top 10. Do we decide on top 10?
We'll shoot for 10, but if it gets hard, we might just do 5.
Yeah. Well, next week we'll be discussing our underrated games. What are some games that you guys that we missed or undervalued that you guys would put on the time capsule list?
I actually want to see everyone's time capsule lists.
Yeah, please let us know time capsule list or a game or two that you believe should have been on our list. Email us at rescapepodcast@gmail.com and let us know. And we will...
guys, give us your time capsule list. If you want us to read your underrated list next week, we will. And also any questions or anything. Questions, comments, dares, anything at all. Send us everything. Send us your thoughts. Send us your poems. Corey likes to sing and rap, so feel free to send him stuff like that too. And he'll perform live for you. Yeah,
Once again,
I'll rap you guys.
All lowercase, Rescape Podcast. RESCAPEPODCAST@gmail.com.
Yes, definitely.
And any parting words for our audience, Corey?
I just appreciate everybody listening. I had a lot of fun doing this. I paid for a year of podcasting, so you'll at least get that.
You'll at least get a year out of us. But until next week, check out our YouTube channels. Corey's is C_STOVE, C Stove, on YouTube. He has lots of cool content.
And Greg Aerodontis, AERODONTIS.
Check us out on YouTube. And let us know stuff in the email. And if there's nothing else, Corey, I think we could sign off our first podcast. What do you think?
And don't forget to leave a rating on iTunes for us. Thank you. 5 stars.
5 stars. Yes. High five. All right, guys. We will see you later. Bye.